Depends on the girl. Depends on the girl, right? This notion that your woman would always leave you for a high value dude, even on the initial engagement. It depends on the ideal that she has in her head. So most of the community is built around evolutionary and economic mate selection theory, but there are other mate selection theories out there. I talk about this in my book that's going to be released in January 2025. Little plug for myself, sorry. But I talk about different mate selection theories. And IMT, ideal mate theory, says that each woman has a unique picture in her mind of what her ideal partner looks like, right? So if you're in a little towny bar and the girl grew up kind of blue collar dad, she went to church, she dated the high school quarterback, who's going to have a better shot at getting that woman? The dude in the flannel shirt that's like drinking a Coors Light, or Drake who rolls in with his posse?
Yeah,
There
but
are a lot of women that
what if
will
it's
go
like
to
a
Drake,
country
but
singer though?
what's that?
I didn't, yeah, like not every girl is into like, light skinned black guys like Drake or whatever, Chris Brown or this and that guy. But I'm saying like for your girl who has her ideal mate selection is like, yeah, a country boy in a flannel, and
For
you just
sure.
walk up, what?
For sure. Or like a country celeb, right? Like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, listen, you have an advantage with status. You have an advantage with what we call, value, right? As the community defines value, which is typically status, money, resources, height, muscles, looks, right? There's an advantage that comes with that. But I think the issue is guys are hyper fixated on that. And I believe the majority of the guys that are in the community or that are looking to improve their dating lives, they're getting beaten over the head with this evolutionary science all the time, and it's discouraging them. I'm like, let's look at that as 5% of the game, and now let's get on with playing the fucking game. Okay, women like guys that are high status and are tall and have money and resources and are pre-selected, great. you know Now let's put that aside and let's craft a style of game that is congruent with you and your personality. Let's get razor fucking sharp with that, and let's attract your type of chick, or your type of chicks, plural, if you want to be a little bit more adventurous, right? So I appreciate this conversation, and at the same time, it always goes there, man. Anytime I'm with pickup artists, dating coaches, whatever, it always like spirals down to, what do women want? What do women want according to the science? I am very much about the art of the game. I don't want to study music theory all day. I want to make my own fucking music. So I think that the majority of guys in this field, they need to turn the volume down just a little bit on the red pill stuff, turn up the volume on the art of the game.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to talk about, so much how Drake or a country singer is going to take somebody's girl. I was just making my point that, it's a very nuanced point that's kind of irrelevant. We can move on from it. But I was just trying to say that if you have enough value, you don't have to be a celebrity. I do it. I'm not famous. I'm a little bit famous, but not to women, only to men. And yeah, like again, it wasn't about being high status or being a celebrity or anyone, anyone
I don't
stealing
think
anyone's
I'll
girl.
I'll say this though. I don't think it's always a value thing, because I know a lot of chicks that are more like hippy dippy type girls that travel and go to festivals and whatever, and they're open to all sorts of unconventional type relationships.
Well, value
And
value could be chemistry, personal chemistry. It doesn't have to
but
be
that's what I'm
muscles and
saying.
a Bugatti.
Exactly. So that's my point though, right?
Yeah,
Like there are some women that are dating some guy and they're broke. They're living out of their van and they're
yeah,
traveling from festival to festival, and they're, doing drugs and, having group sex and whatnot. So look, once again,
yeah.
I'm not opposed to this lifestyle. I don't know how the discussion really started, how we got onto it, but I think we were talking about the types of women that are open to this, or I
Yeah.
personally think it has more to do with the woman's will and less to do with the guy's skill to
Yeah.
establish these types of relationships, because the majority of
Yeah.
women are not open to it. The ones that are open to it are usually willing to tolerate it for a little bit, but they don't want it long term. And there are a select group of women that will tolerate this behavior, and I don't judge them, by the way. I'm not one of
Yeah.
these guys like, oh my God, this woman tolerates her husband cheating and whatever. It's not for me to judge. It's not the life that I want to live. It's not the life that my
Mhm.
fiance wants, or the majority of women that I've dated want. Uh, Anyway, I'll digress.
It's pretty
Yeah,
much
it kind of goes
a
back to
gimmicky
the
thing
very
though.
first question we had, which is,
It's pretty much a gimmicky thing in the sense like
well,
king and queen relationship and a man having threesomes. Well, a man only has one penis. He can't put his penis through two vaginas at the same time. It's just the gimmick of how amazing and unique the gimmick of the experience is. Like that other guys don't have the ability or the experience to have that kind of thing in the first place. To have threesomes every time you have sex and to have a king and queen relationship for the rest of your life, those are extremes, and that's highly unrealistic. However, for the majority of guys, it's merely the fact that they want to experience that just one time at least. And anyone who's saying you can have this forever with like no mistakes, it's not quite realistic, but it's an exciting gimmick to talk about. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I would agree that it is a little bit gimmicky. And here's the other thing. Most of the people that are living these more alternative lifestyles are not talking about it. And no offense to you, Casey, like, because once again, I'm not here to judge. If you want to talk openly about your relationships and whatnot, so be it. But I've found that the majority of people that are living these adventurous alternative lifestyles, usually they're more under the radar about it. They don't talk about it publicly. It's kind of like a coach that publicizes his lay count, right? I will never tell anybody, what my count is. All right. I just, I've been in the game for a long time. I coach with mystery, you just put your own guess out there. Okay. But I'm not going to get on camera and talk about how many women I've slept with. I don't think it's cool. I don't think a true ladies man does that, you know?
Hmm.
I wear
It's
my lay
like
count on my shirt. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
it's like yeah, just like saying
Get it
how much money
tattooed on
you
you.
have in the bank. It's like every time you get paid, like if you get paid every week or every month, I just got more money. Yay. Okay, congratulations. Now what?
And we
It's
we
this
all
pre
know
it's
the
it's this pre-selection thing too, right? So
yeah,
many guys boasting about the women that want them,
yeah.
and showcasing it, right? I found that it's a lot more effective to convey to the woman in a very subtle way that you have experience. And they can usually flesh that out by the way that you talk to them, your qualification questions. They can
Yeah.
gauge your experience level without you having to tell them about other women you've been with, without having to
Oh,
showcase all these women. So I'm generally a fan of very modest pre-selection, and equally powerful to pre-selection is the inverse of that. It's not necessarily that I want the woman to know that I have all this experience. It's that I want her to know that I'm not inexperienced, right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, obviously I would never bring it up around women. And yeah, I got to take off. I'll close out on just one or two things. Yeah, I was going to say earlier that we all know there's a particular psychopath in the industry that swears that your lay count is indicative of how noble your soul is.
You mean
And lay
the
count is the
P.
only thing
Diddy
that
of the
matters
pickup
to a man.
community?
I won't say his name, of course. Definitely won't say his name. Um, and what was the last thing I was gonna say? I forgot now. But yeah, fuck bitches, get money. I guess that's what I was gonna say. No, I forgot. But I don't know. One other thing I'll say, yeah, closing out is I don't know. I may change my. Oh, I remember one thing I was gonna say now too. Uh, you said it's more about the what was the how you phrase it? It's more about the woman's will than the man's skill. That's what
Mm-hmm.
you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally agreed, right? I know a lot. I know a few guys who have had problems with it. So like, Casey, how do you do it? Like, my girl just will not go for it. Like, we tried it for like a week and she blew up. She kicked me out of the house. Da 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 da. I can't do it. And it's not because I'm so much more of a masculine, dominant alpha male and my friend is a little bitch or anything like that. It's because I just selected better for what I want. I only date really, really feminine, submissive Latina women. And some women are very feminine, but they won't go for it. It's not to say that, the more feminine she is, the more she'll tolerate you fucking other girls. Not necessarily. So yeah, it is more to do with my selection than my skill. It's a little bit of both, right? But and then just to clarify too, when I said value, I didn't mean, Bugatti and muscles per se. Your value can come from literally anything. Why she values you, which could be, yeah, because you're a hippie in a van who makes cool music, and she can talk to you for 15 hours and not get bored, and that's the value you have, not the money.
Exactly. Value is subjective. There's the science-based value, which we all know the data on that because the red pill community does not let us forget that every fucking waking moment, right? But then there's individualized value. There's what does she perceive as value, right? And that is not so easy to pin down with science. And that is the realm of game that has reaped the best results for me and my clients as well. I think guys should be focusing on the art of the game while supplementing it with a little bit of science instead of the other way around, where guys are just trying to mold themselves into the scientifically proven attractive alpha male that gets all the women. And no offense to the guys that want to do that. That's a thing too, right? If a guy really wants to go that right, he wants to be attractive to every woman and get as many women as he possibly can. Not for me to judge, not my style.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm acquaintances with Top G and his brother Tristan. I met them a few times. I think they're great guys. I'm big fans of them and everything they do. But I have hung out with, let's say, like little fan clubs, little meetups to do with the Tates, and it was pretty cringe. All the guys trying to beat their chest constantly, and they're just trying to be them, be the most bravado alpha. It's like, dude, like, do you need some Xanax, bro, or something? Like, okay, I get it. Like, you know, put
See, and
down the
again, not for me to judge. I think, uh, who am I to judge? I'm a 41-year-old man. I do not know how somebody should live their life. Okay. Top G is, Andrew Tate doing his Andrew Tate thing. I'm sure he's a cool guy. And, when you get him one-on-one, I'm not the guy who's going to get on camera and yell into the microphone and be super aggressive and dominant. And this is how you should be as a man, right? I'm not here to define what it means to be a man. I'm here to help guys discover what it is to them to develop their game, right?
yeah.
This is the differentiator between, what is masculinity and what is game, and Andrew Tate clearly has some game, he has a style of game that works for him, you know.